Nate Gregurek. Nate. It's exciting, man.
I know.
I'm pumped. Let's talk.
Me too.
Let's talk about some stuff, dude. So,
all right.
We've been kind of running through these like, I don't know. I don't really, it's like employee spotlight stuff, but kind of while the studio's getting built and while we're kind of all remote and then only coming together for events. And we've been kind of putting this together, and it's been fun to talk to people and kind of get a little bit more about their past and about their future and about, their role in the company. So let's talk a little bit. You're a senior project manager, but you do a lot of things. Let's lay some groundwork here. Give me your like 30 to 60 second kind of, where'd you go to school? How'd your career get started? And kind of give me that backstory.
Yeah, for sure. Man, started out in a pretty technical education path. Did like engineering at a magnet school in high school growing up, and then I went to University of Texas with the idea of focusing on electrical engineering, but then quickly realized I was an artist and not going to be very happy in that career path, and that's when I kind of merged the musician and audio world that I was already in with the electrical engineering world. And I switched over to an audio production degree over at the Art Institute. And have been really happy ever since. That kind of got me kicked off with the networks and connections I made coming out of there. And then quickly bridged over to the AV and just broadcast world shortly after.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's funny. Everybody has a degree except for me. I feel like every time I talk to you guys, like everybody's so accomplished. I'm like, I'm a dropout, man, Somehow
this is one of those professions where you don't really need a degree, but since I was already on the, education path, my parents were like, I don't care what you do, but there needs to be some type of paper.
Dude, I was at a thing the other night and I had a kid. It's this kid who had been doing some stuff, and her parents were talking to me like, hey, she's super stoked about production. She's doing all this stuff. She's interning. Like she wants to go to school for RTF. I was like, don't do it. I said, go to school for like engineering. And then you can learn all this shit on the job.
Yeah.
There's no reason that you need to go get an RTF degree or like a production degree or whatever else. Learn computer science, because especially with like the way that we're doing stuff now with all the networked video, all that stuff, the vMix machines, the computers, like get that degree and then just get on the job and learn this stuff. But
or really like I would say the big thing to get now, if you are education focused, is even above computer stuff, is go get network certifications and stuff.
100%.
Everything is going to network based, and being able to be a network engineer as well as an audio engineer or video engineer is going to serve
100%.
Very well into the future.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. So it's interesting that like you're younger than me, but when we were coming up, it was like a very clear path. You went to like, you did production, or you did RTF, or you did, music theory, and then like if you wanted to get into school for production, like at Texas State or something, you had to have an instrument. Like you had to go in. You couldn't just go in and do it. And now it's the whole thing's changed.
And that, that was pretty much my path at UT is once I decided to move over to audio engineering, you had to be a musician. And after having already done the high level musicians, ship stuff in high school, I was at that point in time not ready to like dive back into being like, a compositional musician anymore. And I just wanted to focus on the technical side of it and let the music be the art.
And so you came out of school. Tell me a couple of jobs. Like, I don't want to hear like, what was your like path up to here? Like, where all have you worked? What did you do before Audion?
Kind of an interesting arc. Pretty much right as I graduated from the Art Institute was when large format studios really started to take a dive. And pretty much everybody told me like, hey, you're not going to be able to find a job doing what you want here, at least in the music field, without moving to LA or New York. I wasn't really satisfied with that answer. And so having done live sound and music production here as just like a novice, before I went to school for it, I had some connections in the music industry and started doing live sound pretty quickly. And then I was able to transition into the AV world, working for different AV providers around town, some big box, some small box. And then through that, I quickly learned like there is a shortage of AV and audio and video engineers who are focused on broadcast. So very quickly, I saw that live streaming was going to become like the democratization of the broadcast world. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to specialize in broadcast audio. I quickly started getting gigs with like Austin Music Live, going around and doing high level video production and audio production at venues, kind of bringing that live music element into the live streaming world for the first time here in Austin outside of ACL.
Right.
At a high quality and doing it over the internet versus over, normal television broadcast.
Well, that's where, I mean, we met you. I think you were at one of the venues, maybe two, maybe y'all were at a couple, but I remember meeting you several times. This was probably, 10 years ago or 8 years ago. It was a long time ago. But you guys, I remember you guys hustling on the ground there and getting to know you there. And so it's pretty exciting to see you come, out of that and into It's been a fun arc. That's for sure. That's cool. Well, tell me this, aside from, I mean, that's obviously that stuff with the live music sounds awesome. What's the coolest gig that you worked on prior to coming on board with us?
I still have one gig that may never get topped as far as how big it was, but through a random connection doing another gig that I just happened to do a good job on, I got my name thrown in the hat to be on a game show hosted by Jerry Springer called Jerry Springer's Baggage on the Road. And it was a game show for Game Show Network, and I ended up being the PA audience mixer on that for 16 episodes, touring with the production around the lower half of the country. And that was really fun. And we built a multi-million-dollar set out on the beach in St. Petersburg, Florida, and filmed, 6 or 7 episodes out on just in the sand on the beach for a week. And it was a lot of fun. I quickly realized, though, that being on tour like that for that, extended period of time was not going to allow for a good family life, which was something that was pretty important for me and why I never really pursued the full-time touring career and stuff like that. I'm a homebody. I like to be at home, and it was fun to make a lot of money really quick, but it's a hard life if you're looking to do it. Well, then I'm sorry for all the out of town gigs that we have coming up right now. This is more like being on like high level tour where it's like you're at nice places. I know, eating good food, doing a job that you love, and then you go back home to your family after a couple days. I do tell people though, it's like we're on the longest tour ever. Like the last 10 years of my life, it's just like it's just the longest tour ever. That's all you're doing. Yeah, it's funny that how life comes in circles like that. How you may try to move away from something, and then something else that fits a little bit better. Finds its way in there. Yeah. Talk about your current role. Talk about what you do, your title. Kind of how that plays into our day to day. Yeah. Senior project manager. As you can imagine, that comes with everything that a normal project manager at any other job would entail. For me, a large part of that is strategically implementing staff and equipment to, a plan that, meets the client's needs. For all kinds of gigs too, like crazy, all over the place. For all kinds, audio, video, AV, large conferences, small conferences. It's one of the things I love about this job is it's a different day every single day. Even doing the same gigs with the same clients, it's different every day. Totally. At a different venue with different speakers and presentations and stuff like that. And, being a small company too, I wouldn't want to let everybody else have too much fun doing the operation and like technical side. So I do end up on a lot of broadcasting, engineering spots too, where I'm not only project managing the event, but I'm also doing sometimes the lead technical operations of the show with the switching or the audio engineering, or just filling in and supplementing the staff where, they need me to. Which I think that's super important. And for me, that's, I don't know. It's one of the things that I'm really proud of for us as a team, that when you get us on site, you are going to get one of the principals. You're going to get one of the senior management people working the gig. Aside from me,
most people aren't just sitting down in front of a computer answering emails or barking orders. You're in it. You're working the event. You've interfaced with the client. You've interfaced with house staff. If we're at somebody else's venue, you've interfaced with talent. You're there actively managing and doing that stuff. And we see this a lot, especially on the bigger gigs when we go in and there's this guy, the sales guy or the project or the PM or whoever who's kind of put it all together, but then dude's just MIA the whole time. Like he's not there. He's, in the war room or wherever, doing his thing, but you're on the ground every week, man. I mean, when I look at the production calendar, you're somewhere every week on a gig.
Yeah. It's getting pretty nuts. It's fun.
Yeah. Like you said that with a lot of, I don't know. It's maybe a little hidden message somewhere in there.
No, it's
fun, man. I really love it. I promise.
It is it's a lot of work, but it is fun. Like I was saying, that's one of the great things about this job is, like you get to be everywhere, everything all at once.
And you're everything to the client. I mean, you're like, you're so trusted.
And
they trust you. They see your face. They know you. They know it's going to get done right. Like to me, that's a huge, huge part of what we do. It's that building that trust. So, so you've been, what are we going on 6-7 years more?
I went contracting August of 2017, I believe.
Dang, man.
This summer will be 7 years getting ready to go on. Getting close to that decade.
You're getting old,
it's gone
dude.
by fast.
You're getting real old. I'm staying the same age though, but you're getting old. So, it's funny because you have a pretty unique vantage in that, guys like Trey and Brandon who were almost, Trey had a full-time job for, one of our other executive producers for a long time. Brandon has always kind of been freelance and kind of out there, had his own thing kind of going. Some of the other guys have always been freelance, but like you were in the trenches, for these big box AV companies. So you've transitioned over now to where, you have a lot more autonomy, you have a lot more responsibility, you have a lot more things that you have to answer for. But what still gets you excited about what you're doing? What gets you out of bed? What makes you stoked about, your position, the company? Talk to me a little about that.
Yeah, I really have just one big sticking point on that I think is one of the most important just pieces to it all is all the other jobs I've worked for, whether it's in the music industry or in the AV industry or a blend of both of those. There was a clear cap. You could see that there was a threshold that you were going to hit if you stayed with them long enough. And then once that threshold was met, the opportunities without going to be like, a regional manager or something that I was not in. Like, I really love being on the ground, being with the clients, being at the events. That's really important to me. So I never really saw myself as like a desk, like regional manager role. But a lot of jobs just kind of capped out to where you could kind of see like, hey, there's not a future beyond this certain threshold.
Middle management.
Changing to another career that was less technical and less like person to person focused. And with this company, it's, you're the steward of your own destiny. And I think that for me, that means everything, that there is not, there's not a clear end on the horizon. Right. It's like there's an endless arc that I feel like this company uniquely presents. And as an employee and as someone, who doesn't want to ever, really get complacent where I am and keep trying to grow every day, it's like knowing that that for this, as cheeky as it is to say or whatever, it's like it is really more about the journey than the destination.
For sure.
And the journey that we're on doesn't seem to really have a destination at this point in time. And where we've grown from just where I've started to now, we're doing so many things that if you would have asked me 5, 6, 7 years ago when I started, I would have not thought it was possible. And now it's like everything seems possible.
It's been interesting. And a lot of that, your personality, I think, and your work ethic has really brought a lot of that, like you deserve the credit for that, for creating that role for yourself and for doing that. But it's also been, this really, and maybe we'll do something later on this, but like, man, that, I don't know if you remember, but that like 2 weeks post-COVID, I mean, or pre-COVID, when it was like we were working that huge event and then we're like, oh man, it's about to get bad. And we all spent, 2 weeks locked up in the office together, just whiteboarding. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to stay afloat? What do we have? How are we? And we all figured that out and worked through it. And I think that's what's really been the catalyst for like the continued opportunity. We got way ahead of the curve on that stuff. We were able to support a lot of people for those 2 years, 3 years. And then coming out of it, because we already had that technology in place, it just, and this goes back to your point, like in a traditional big box AV company or production or whatever, your whole goal is to get out of being on the floor and doing work. Like, I want to get into sales. I want to be a PM. I want to do whatever else. We are all of those things, and we will always be all of those things, but the clients get bigger. The jobs get bigger. The budgets get bigger. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're smaller budgets, but it's like 10 gigs a year because that client only wants you on site. And it's for me, it makes me so proud to see that we have so many guys in our group and employees that all share that vision and that mission of like,
it's truly unique,
this?
Man.
It's crazy.
It's very unique. Like I said, I've worked for a lot of companies and, like getting to work, I would say anything. 2 of my favorite jobs I've had in my life, this one being one of those 2, have been for small companies where I worked directly for the owner. That other job was as a little league sports photographer, which was my first job out of high school. When I was still fully on the engineering track, had no ambitions of being, a videographer or a photographer or like, so it's kind of funny how that came full circle and that those 2 things ended up being my, favorite jobs. But a huge component of that was just learning the value of working for a small company where it's like you really see the value and the impact you make on a daily basis that at a big box company, you don't really get that satisfaction of being like, wow, like I'm making a difference here. And that can be a source of demotivation when you feel like you're putting in your best effort and it's not making any difference.
Well, and for me too, and I think for us as a company, that's the struggle is that, while our core group is, pretty tight, we're, a sub 20 employee company. We do huge gigs, man. We do big gigs. We do small gigs. We do a lot of, all this kind of stuff in between and metering that growth so that we don't stray from our core values or the core reason that we exist has been a really interesting balance. And so the new studio is going to help a lot with that. Some of the new people that we've brought into the mix are helping with that too. But my real question here is, do you think we could do baseball card style headshots for the new website that you could shoot for us?
Oh man, I got the baseball card style, headshots.
I want all of us with with a microphone stand.
I got all the poses. I can make some calls. We can get some fake backgrounds, or with the new green screen at the studio, we could just
do the LED wall.
Be wherever. Awesome, so if the video thing fails, I'm sure that I'm very certain that we could pick up a little league photography business, just pumping kids through the studio all day.
Well, I want to get into some client relation stuff because, for 15 years or 12 years, I was, pretty much solo on that portion. And it's been nice to have some people step into those roles now to where, I'm not the only one that's interfacing directly with clients. And honestly, I just couldn't, there's no way I could manage the workload that we have now solo, which has been a weird thing for me to give up some of that control. But like I said, I'm really proud of everybody that we have on board because I think we all share the same vision and the same core values and we all kind of move in the same direction. So it's made that a little less traumatic for me, but talk to me a little bit. I mean, because you're talking to people every day. What's your approach to these kind of client relations and like really understanding the needs for a project? How do you go into a new project or even an existing client with ongoing needs?
Oh man, it's very simple. 2 words: customer service.
Yeah.
I feel like that is one of the, if not the most fundamental, core value of Audion is before all the technical stuff, before anything like that, we are customer service oriented at the forefront. I got extremely lucky. I keep coming back to it, but I went to a career academy in high school where I got lots of awesome opportunities to be a school ambassador and to create partnerships with outside businesses who were looking to partner with the school to create internships and be mentors for students. And I got really lucky at an early age to kind of learn how to interface with the business environment that I feel like, your average path as an audio engineer may not afford you if you're working out in bars or like at music venues. It's just a different world than the business,
you're not, you don't get to be the grumpy sound guy.
Turn that guitar amp down. And that really gave me a strong understanding and approach to, customer service first, which I feel like once I joined the team here at Audion and saw like that's how we do business, it allowed me to really excel here. And then that translates, over into meeting, the client's needs, because if you address, if you're trying to function as an in-house, part of a client's organization and not just as a third party vendor trying to make a buck and then get out.
Yeah.
You learn to anticipate needs. You learn the events annually to where you come up with better ideas to how you can improve year after year. And all of that comes from interacting with our clients in a very customer service oriented way all the time.
And listening and not taking it for granted that, we did it last year. It's just a rinse and repeat. Just, up the budget 10% and we'll be fine. Yeah. We don't do that. Yeah.
And, like we want our clients to grow. Yeah. And part of them growing is us growing with them and learning to anticipate new needs, staying on top of the technology so that we can offer new solutions. I feel like that really served us well coming out of the pandemic. We discovered a lot of new solutions that we would not have discovered had we not been forced to in that environment. And that learning to adapt to try to continuously meet our customers' needs, has really allowed us to excel post pandemic in that aspect.
Yeah, I love it. Agree 100% on all that. Tell me, I mean, you're obviously a very talented audio engineer. You got the customer service skills. What kind of uniqueness and what specific skill set do you bring to this team?
Yeah, I thought about that question a bit because, clearly being the only audio focused guy on our team, that's probably the most specialized and unique skill that I bring to the team. In a video world where there's a lot of video guys, audio guys will tell you the audio is often overlooked. But if you've ever tried to watch a video with no sound, you'll quickly realize how important the sound component of that is. But outside of that, I would say one thing that I think is, pretty unique that I bring is just a very quick troubleshooting skills, while staying very calm in the moment. Lots of times you're going to be on events where, despite your best efforts of planning everything perfectly, internet is going to go out at a venue, which has happened to us before. Things are going to happen that are outside of your control, even if you've laid the best plan. And being able to stay calm, critically think in the moment,
don't freak out,
and adapt and come up with new solutions, I think has really benefited me just in my overall career. As becoming on any team I've been on, quickly becoming a lead troubleshooter, just because I just don't panic. That's my motto. Don't panic and just keep calm and run through the solutions in your mind and, stay calm. So I really feel like, just being able to troubleshoot really quickly would be one of my, very, unique skills outside of just audio engineering, is just critical thinking in the moment.
Yeah. You're freaking out. The client's freaking out. And if you're running around scrambling, that doesn't bode well for them. They don't know. They have no clue what you're doing. Yeah. And they have no clue about your technology. Ideally, a problem happens
and they don't even know because you have just fixed it.
That's right. It's like being on stage. Nobody knows the songs but you. Just don't. If you screw up, just keep going because it's going. This is. And I try to lay this groundwork with clients now because we have a lot of people that have come to us after having really bad experiences, or people that came to us and we worked for them for years. And then they, for whatever reason, tried to go a different route and then came back to us again. And we were like, yeah, sure. Let's go again. but stuff's always going to go wrong.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And it's how you handle that situation, how you deal with that situation, how you walk through the signal flow and the process to break down, okay, where are my points of failure? How do I get this back up and running? I mean, you can have all the redundancies in the world. Stuff's still going to happen. We see that happen all the time. And we just, you fix it, man. You fix it.
It's
and
like, it's like the military, man. You got to adapt and overcome at a certain point.
Actually,
and,
while you were saying that, I got a text from Emily, who we'll do one of these on with. She's a designer. She sent me something that said one of our clients had somebody else do a design and they hate it and they're sending it over to us. So it's like, it happens on the design side too. It's like
sometimes you got to try something new to find out that what was working.
And it's okay. And I don't begrudge anybody doing that. I mean, you've heard me say this, and we've been in meetings before where we'll tell clients, go bid it out. Have someone else do it, man. Have somebody else run the event. Let's, I'm not saying that we're better than everybody out there. I'm not saying that, we're the end all be all, but we're pretty good at what we do. And we're pretty understanding of most of our clients' needs. And I think we take a very different approach to how we manage these projects. So I'm all for them trying something else out because maybe there's a better fit. Maybe that,
for sure,
whatever they want to do. And you don't know that until you know that. And for us, you're only as good as your last job. So 3 jobs down the road, they don't remember how you pulled them out on that job, back, 6 months ago. It's like, so go figure it out and then we'll go from there. But enough with that. So you've got, this unlimited potential, right? Theoretically, you've got this vessel that you're a steward of. What do you hope to achieve in that role? What do you hope to achieve for the company? Where do you want to see us go? Where do you want to see yourself go?
Man, again, probably my answer to this is maybe more simple than is wanted, but my idea of achieving in this company just revolves around one central point of doing good work. I get most satisfied at the end of the day when we've done a week long, 7, 8, 10, 12, 16-hour days in a row where we've really busted it out and done a good job, and the event comes to a close and the client is so happy. Yeah. I get immense satisfaction and, gratification, out of that. And as long as I've been focused on that, things just keep getting better and better. And so I try not to limit stuff with like having an ideal of what the future looks like. I try to just let it unfold through doing good work. Sure. And that philosophy comes from playing baseball and my dad telling me, just hit the ball, man, just hit the ball and let the ball do the work. Yeah. And that, I think, as cheesy as it sounds, has rung true for a lot of things in my life. I just try to go to work. I try to do good work. I try to hit the ball every day, and the ball is going to go where the ball is going to go. But if you keep getting hits and you keep doing good work, like, eventually one's going to go over the fence. And now that has happened to me several times in my career here. And so I try to stay really focused on that. Just do good work, let the goal of achieving good work be the achievement, and everything else, takes care of it.
It's a great attitude. So it's Audion. Eventually one's going to go over the fence. Is that our new thing? We'll just put that out there. I'll get some shirts, mate. Post haste. Give me some closing thoughts, like especially as someone who's been in the trenches for so long, has seen a lot of things come and go. Talk to me about the current state, and it doesn't have to be regionally or locally, but just event production in general, the importance in business and communication that holds. We do a lot of stuff for accreditation. We do stuff for these pitch days. We do stuff for B2B. What do you what's happening in the world out there? What's coming up next?
That's a really interesting question. When I started this industry, the thought was that, when you look at the Great Depression and just past wars and just big events that have happened globally, throughout the history, it's the entertainment industry has been one of the things that has stood the test of time. Right. And when people were in their deepest, darkest moments, they went to the movie theaters to go see movies. They listened to radio shows. Right. And what we saw with the pandemic was like the complete upheaval of that, to where entertainment came to a grinding halt. You could no longer be together. A lot of good friends and good people in this industry lost their jobs and moved on to other careers. And so it's we're kind of in a moment that is unique to us, where we are kind of having to rebuild an industry that has been burnt down to the ground from the ground up. And there are a lot of costs that come at that. Venues are really taking it to clients right now to try to make up the heavy financial losses.
Yeah, hospitality's getting rough on them. Yeah.
That all rolls downhill. Budgets get tighter. Productions become, more limited. But the messaging, the education content, like all of that must remain.
Right.
The good work still needs to be done, and someone's got to do it. And I feel like that's the important role that we are in right now, especially here at Audion, is, like these messages still need to get out. The mission statements of our clients and the associations and stuff, like they're serving people who are trying to get back to a daily life, that got greatly diminished during the pandemic. And so I feel like now more than ever, we're in this delicate balance of trying to provide the best value, because clients don't have endless budgets anymore. We're trying to still put the best people out there on gigs with a labor force that has been decimated in skill, education. Like we lost decades of people who were doing good work in this industry. And so we're having to granularly teach and build people from the ground up. But at the end of the day, all of that is worth it, because, we are helping our clients, the people that they serve, people who need education to go be lawyers, keep their doctor's license. Like we are providing a small but integral role in keeping that cogwheel of life rolling for a lot of people. And it's easy to, not necessarily see how valuable the small part you play in that is, but getting to work with the clients that we've gotten to work with and getting to see the value that is provided in those relationships to their members and the people they serve, I think it's now more important than ever to keep doing what we're doing, to keep our customer service high, to keep our technology high, for businesses and missions and corporations and associations to keep serving their members and trying to help get life back on track after the pandemic. And I think we're on that.
I think so too. And I think even you could take that a step further and extrapolate that there are now people that will only interact with your brand, with your agency, with your association, with your group, with your service, whatever, in a digital way, online or through a stream or through digital means. They will never see you in person. They will never interact with you in person. Yeah. That is a fundamental shift that I think people are slowly finally coming to accept, that just changed the way things are forever. And you can't forcibly ignore those people and be like, well, you know what? We have this association, but we're only going to provide accreditation for people that decide to show up. All you other people that can't make it or that don't want to come, you just can't have the content. Like you don't have the luxury of doing that anymore. I understand, networking is a huge thing. You want those people to be there in person. Those people are always going to come. But to ignore those people that are digital natives that are only going to interact with you in that way, that to me has been one of the biggest shifts in where we're going forward. And it's one of the things that we try to talk the most about to people is there is no getting ahead of the curve now. It's here. So you need to get on board or you're going to get left behind. Yeah. And I think we've done a good job of keeping people in that space.
I like to say that, as a person who can like flip a switch and be introverted or pretty extroverted, the introverted side of me feels like, oh, now there's a place for me, in this new digital world where if I'm not feeling like being with a bunch of people, like there is a place for me to still get
be a part
my
of
education, to still be a part of it and participate in the way that best suits me. And it's just like now we have lots of options to serve more specifically a more diverse population of people. And I think that's a beautiful thing, to grow and adapt and figure out how to provide better solutions, more unique to more specific people. Right. Like we're in a unique time where we are kind of afforded the luxury to develop those things and to explore entire new, pathways of getting this information out to people.
It's super exciting. The true hybrid stuff to me is like, I love it. Like the true two-way communication between on and off site. So that's for a whole nother thing. We've definitely gone on, but a lot of food for thought there. And I'm super appreciative that you took the time to talk about this stuff. I know we got a lot going on this week, but I think it's important for people to know who we are and what we do and where everybody's coming from. And, hopefully glean some tidbits of info from our experience and from who we are as people and our approaches to business. So I appreciate the thoughtfulness that you put into this and for taking the time to do it. So
yeah, absolutely, man. Cool. Always happy to jump in here and give my thoughts.
I love it, bro. All right. Well, y'all have a safe loadout. I know you guys are headed to Houston. I see you got the hat on. So hopefully go Astros. I know, man, please go Astros. If anybody watching this, we're very early in the season right now and it's very scary. So it's
that $95 million is not paying off at this point in time.
Anyway. All right, dude. Well, have a good rest of your day. And all right. We'll talk soon, bud.
All right. Later.